Caitlin Clark and her foundation has found themselves in the headlines today.
In a league frequently consumed by controversy and headlines, Caitlin Clark just showed everyone what authentic leadership is. As the WNBA contends with offseason ambiguity and contract negotiations, she captured attention for an entirely different reason: her compassion. Without fanfare, her foundation made a huge $300,000 contribution to area food banks, supplying over 3 million meals to families requiring aid. Supporters inundated social media with acclaim, hailing her as the true MVP away from the game. This was not a move for publicity, it was purpose put into practice.
Phenomenal. Best basketball player right now, this side of anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Caitlin Clark.
What's going on, guys? This is your channel.
However, the narrative behind that donation is more profound than anyone knew, and it is altering the landscape. The WNBA's offseason is typically marked by tension, talks, and doubt. This year was the same. As the league's collective bargaining agreement approached its end date, players felt anxious and fans were on edge. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert had just approved a 30-day extension to prevent a possible lockout. The atmosphere was heavy with conjecture. Would the players agree to the terms, or was a total shutdown imminent?
This is, you know what I'm saying? This is dope. And this shows you how much different Caitlin Clark is from all of the other athletes.
For weeks, social media was overwhelmed by drama, speculation, and discontent. Headlines were filled with disputes, not encouragement. Then, seemingly from nowhere, a story emerged that broke through the clamor. While the world discussed league politics, Caitlin Clark was discreetly organizing something much more significant. Her foundation, established just 2 years prior, had been arranging a substantial donation that would affect thousands of families throughout the Midwest. And when the news was finally released, it felt like a gust of fresh air in a league choking on controversy.
I just gotta be, real with this one. It says, respect pours in for Caitlin Clark after $300,000 announcement. Before any Indiana Fever game kicks off, you will see Caitlin Clark standing in front of a pool of kids signing their merch, photos, and whatnots once the game is done. Win or lose, she repeats it all over again.
The timing was absolutely perfect. Fans, weary of the constant arguments over player salaries and marketing, suddenly found a new reason to be optimistic. Clark's generous act served as a reminder of why they originally developed a passion for the sport. It wasn't only about the game, but also about the integrity of its athletes.
WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert is granting the ladies a 30-day extension to figure out this CBA negotiation deal. Now, from my understanding and what I heard is they have to accept this deal that Cathy is laying out for them. And that deal is to basically continue negotiation like it is. Won't be no shutdown, won't be no lockout until November, I believe, 30th or something like that.
Her choice to concentrate on nourishing families amid a period of national difficulty said a great deal about her principles. Instead of being a topic for trash talk or off-court disputes, Caitlin was trending for a rare quality: kindness. Her foundation's $300,000 donation to food banks was more than just a number. It was a declaration. In an offseason filled with ambiguity, she offered hope. This change in momentum didn't just alter the mood of the fans, it rekindled a feeling of mission throughout the league. This wasn't merely a single act of charity. It represented a philosophy, a message, and a movement that is only just beginning.
$300,000 to afford to feeding American families, the nation's leading hunger relief network, which will support local food banks and pantries. In just 8 months, this effort helped deliver more than 3 million healthy meals to families in need across the Midwest.
It all began at a modest event in Iowa that seemed unremarkable at first. Caitlin Clark, with a couple of her Indiana Fever teammates, appeared to greet fans, give autographs, and interact with the children who admired her. It was a standard off-season function, but the feeling in the space conveyed a different tale. Parents waited in line for hours, not merely to see a basketball celebrity, but to encounter someone their children truly looked up to. Cameras were flashing, but Caitlyn wasn't seeking the spotlight. She was present for the human connection. She dedicated time to each fan, smiling, shaking hands, posing for photos, and hearing their stories. One particular interaction was memorable. A young girl holding a worn basketball told Caitlyn she dreamed of being just like her. Instead of hurrying the exchange, Clark knelt, autographed the ball, and replied, "You already can be."
With Caitlin Clark Foundation, she is ensuring the ones in need get opportunities, and now her organization has revealed another big news announcement. Now, we also know the current state of our country, so whatever Caitlin Clark is doing, this is major, because we know things that's dealing with the food stamps and SNAP benefits and, several things. I pray for everybody out there, man. Anybody, that's dealing with food stamps, on food stamp shortage, food shortage, go to your local food banks, go to your local pantries.
It was a brief exchange, but it perfectly encapsulated why her appeal is so different. At a time when pro athletes often appear aloof or defensive, Caitlyn displays a classic sincerity. She signs autographs until the venue closes. She doesn't ignore the supporters waiting outside in the cold. She makes everyone feel important, and that quality connects with people. The local news reported on the event, but it was her foundation's announcement afterward that caused a stir on social media. When the Caitlin Clark Foundation announced its collaboration with Hy-Vee, confirming they had jointly raised $300,000 for local food banks, the scale of the achievement amazed her followers. In an environment where athletes frequently make news for negative reasons, she made headlines for her philanthropy. It wasn't a press event or a meticulously organized PR campaign. It was a genuine moment, a signal that positive news still has a place in sports. The images from that event, the joy on the kids' faces, and the subsequent positive impact became the emotional core of her narrative. But as the information about that large donation emerged, it became clear this was not an isolated gesture. It was an element of a much larger calling.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have it. The Morning Police welcome for the amazing number 22, Caitlin Clark!
The news came quietly, but its resonance was widespread. On the Caitlin Clark Foundation's official Instagram, a straightforward question was posted: "Would you like to round up your purchase to support local families in need?" That simple inquiry resulted in an extraordinary outcome: a $300,000 donation to food banks across the Midwest. Through the generosity of Hy-Vee customers and the foundation's partnership, over 3 million healthy meals reached families struggling financially. It was more than a heartwarming story, it was tangible, significant progress. Back in March, the foundation had initiated the Roundup campaign with Hy-Vee, one of Clark's first and most loyal sponsors. Every shopper who agreed to round up their bill contributed straight to Feeding America's food bank network. There were no intermediaries or ambiguous assurances. Every cent was used to provide meals. What began as a simple concept grew into a regional initiative that brought communities together, demonstrating how minor contributions can yield major impacts. Fans rushed to social media with praise. Comment threads were filled with statements like, "This is what leadership is, and Caitlin Clark doesn't just speak about giving back, she embodies it." Even those uninterested in basketball were impressed by her modesty and effectiveness. Clark later released a sincere statement on the project, saying nutrition is essential to every child's growth and success. By providing meals to families in need, we can help children find the energy and confidence to chase their dreams. Her words were not for show. They conveyed a profound comprehension of what community really entails. This was not a bid for publicity or a marketing tactic. It was a declaration that with influence comes responsibility. And while some were chasing fame, Caitlyn was concentrating on family. Yet what makes this tale even more remarkable is her consistency. Because this was not her first charitable act, and it certainly will not be her last. The Caitlin Clark Foundation wasn't established suddenly. It was constructed from her own vision to build something permanent, something that would endure beyond her basketball career. Founded in 2023, the foundation's mission is direct yet potent to enhance the lives of young people through education, nutrition, and sports. Every program aligns with these core values. From the very beginning, Caitlyn emphasized that her aim wasn't to receive accolades, but to effect real change for children with the greatest need. The foundation has already hit milestones that many organizations spend years striving for. When the news of Caitlin Clark's $300,000 donation emerged, the internet reacted strongly. Fans flooded social media with compliments, calling her a class act and an authentic role model. The news was shared across sports websites, parenting forums, and major news networks. For a moment, the WNBA was trending for a positive reason. Hashtags celebrating her generosity took over social media, and clips of her past charity work reappeared, highlighting her long-standing commitment to giving back, well before she achieved professional stardom. But as is common online, not everyone shared in the positivity. A handful of detractors attempted to frame her generosity as a calculated act. They alleged it was a PR stunt or a tactic to enhance her profile during a slow off-season. Some mentioned rival athletes, implying the media focuses on Caitlyn solely due to her fame. Yet the more they tried to diminish her actions, the more the wave of support grew. Fans responded swiftly, pointing out that her foundation had been operational for years, long before the WNBA spotlight was on her. Other athletes even offered their support, praising her for leveraging her platform to create positive change rather than incite drama. Former players, coaches, and civic leaders held her up as a model of what the league needs: athletes who lead with their deeds, not just their word. Meanwhile, on sports discussion boards and podcasts, a change in the dialogue became apparent. The debates were no longer about statistics or team rivalries. The topics were compassion, leadership, and social responsibility. Caitlyn's action prompted a collective pause, encouraging a reevaluation of what truly constitutes greatness in an athlete. The online chatter eventually subsided, but the core message endured. While some continued to seek attention or conflict, Caitlyn quietly continued her impactful work. Her reply to the noise was straightforward. She remained silent. She allowed her actions to communicate for her, and in a time when silence can be more powerful than any statement, that quiet self-assurance became her greatest strength. But this gesture did more than just showcase her character. It exposed something significant about the league itself. Caitlin Clark's $300,000 contribution was not merely a charitable act. It marked a pivotal moment for the WNBA's public perception. For a long time, the league has struggled with fluctuating viewership, internal strife, and critiques of its marketing approaches. A significant portion of the fan base has accused the WNBA of prioritizing controversy over community engagement. But Caitlyn's gesture was a powerful reminder that the ability to change the league's story doesn't originate from official statements or social media arguments. It originates from athletes who set an example. Her foundation's donation returned the focus to where it should be, on integrity, empathy, and leadership. It demonstrated that an athlete's impact is not solely determined by their performance, but also by the individuals they affect off the court. As the news about league disputes started to wane, reports of Caitlyn's charitable work began to appear in mainstream media, capturing the interest of people who had never seen a WNBA game. Suddenly, individuals who weren't even basketball fans were eager to know more about her. She wasn't just crafting her own legacy, she was also boosting the league's standing. For the new generation of players entering the WNBA, Caitlyn's actions established a higher benchmark. Being a great player is no longer sufficient. True greatness now involves leveraging one's platform for the betterment of others. Her sincerity broke through the static and reminded everyone what sports should truly represent: unity, encouragement, and mission. Even the league's leadership observed this shift. By supporting causes like hunger relief, Caitlyn helped reshape the WNBA's image from one of conflict to one of purpose. Her efforts attracted sponsors, motivated community initiatives, and won over skeptics who had questioned the league's capacity to engage a wider audience. In an era where scandals often overshadow sports, Caitlin Clark achieved something uncommon. She gave people a reason to have faith again. And yet, as impactful as this was, the timing of her charity held an even greater meaning that was impossible to overlook. The timing of Caitlin Clark's donation was incredibly poignant. The WNBA offseason was fraught with instability, unresolved contract discussions, rumors of a possible lockout, and a fan base eager for some positive news. Then, unexpectedly, her foundation's announcement came as a light in the darkness. As the league grappled with its internal politics, she was actively providing food to families. As others fretted over salary disagreements, she was affecting real-world change. This sharp contrast resonated deeply with fans, players, and the media. What made it even more notable was the quiet manner in which it was done. There was no elaborate press event, no theatrical lead-up, and no clamor for media attention, just a social media post, a financial contribution, and millions of meals provided. It was the antithesis of the typical approach to athlete philanthropy. Caitlyn did not leverage the donation for self-promotion. She used it to help others. This modesty lent even greater significance to her actions. It became clear that this was not merely a good deed, it was a powerful statement. It demonstrated how a single athlete could introduce positivity into a situation filled with tension. Her decision to act rather than talk distinguished her in a league full of noise. Every interview she has given since has been marked by a quiet self-assurance, reflecting someone who understands her mission and doesn't require external approval. The donation also occurred just before the holidays, a period when families nationwide feel the pressure of increased living costs and food scarcity. The emotional timing was exceptionally impactful. It was not just about charity, it was about empathy. She identified a need and took action when it was most critical. With a single gesture, Caitlin Clark redefined modern sports leadership. She transformed a slow off-season into a season of generosity, and as the league continues to navigate its path, Caitlyn has already established hers, showing that true greatness is not determined by fame or wealth, but by how you support others when nobody is watching.